Hello everyone, this is a presentation brought to you by students of third year at the ISL English Language Institute, Gabriela Cáceres, Enrique Sousa, and Ruben Zapatini. The topic is the natural approach. The natural approach states that language learning is a reproduction of the way humans naturally acquire language. That's the name, the natural approach. It was developed by Stephen Krashen and Tracy Terrell. They theorized the natural approach on 5 hypotheses. The first one is the acquisition learning hypothesis, the natural order hypothesis, the monitor hypothesis. This presentation is going to focus on the input hypothesis as well as the affective filter. If we could summarize what the input hypothesis is about, we could use this phrase by Stephen Krashen. He says, we acquire language in one and only one way, when we understand messages. We call this comprehensible input. We understand a language when we understand what people tell us, not how they say it. This phrase states basically the communicative nature of the natural approach.
If we acquire a language through input, what would be the best way to do this? What constitutes an optimal input? Benico Mason, together with Dr. Krashen, broke it down to 4 characteristics. Number 1. Optimal input is comprehensible. This means we start to acquire a language as soon as we start to understand messages transmitted in that language. This does not mean every single detail must be comprehensible. There can be some noise, some incomprehensible pieces, such as some unknown vocabulary and grammar, rules that have not yet been acquired but are not essential in comprehension. Language acquisition does not require you to understand every word and every part of every word. Number 2. Optimal input is rich. Rich in language that contributes to the message being communicated. Rich input must include new vocabulary and grammar the students are ready for. Number 3. Optimal input is compelling. It has to be interesting, so interesting the learner almost forgets it's in another language due to being so focused on the message being transmitted. The fact that most people learn English by consuming their favorite English entertainment media supports this assertion. The acquirer must have a desire to know what is being said, which works as a motivation to understand the message. Finally, number 4, optimal input is abundant. It takes a lot of comprehensible, rich, and compelling input to make significant progress. Abundant input provides more opportunities for the acquisition of language. Teachers must provide lots of resources. Mason recommends guided self-selected reading or GSSR, which consists in providing students with a plethora of easy reading options, which students then choose according to their own interest and go through at their own pace.
I'll talk about the fourth principle of the natural approach by Krashen and Terrell on the affective filter. What they propose is that in order to learn a second language, the teacher should consider the students' emotions and feelings. The level of confidence they have in themselves will determine their level of motivation. And this is tricky because confidence and motivation are such hard things to measure and to make it happen. There's no doubt they are central in acquisition. The affective filter that Krashen and Terrell proposed is focused on reducing tension during class, right, during language class. So teachers should strive to create a non-threatening environment where students can feel like sharing their ideas and have ample opportunities to grasp the language. Teachers should keep in mind that everyone in class will ultimately succeed. Nobody will be singled out or or exposed for no reason, or openly criticized, error can be seen as an unavoidable step towards acquisition. So, in short, what Krashen and Terrell have claimed is that we acquire language in one way, and only one way, when we get comprehensible input, and that is information that is up to our level in a low anxiety environment, and that has to do with creating an environment where students feel at ease. I'll talk about the force principle of the natural. Thank you very much for watching. These were the highlights of the natural approach by Krashen and Terrell. Thank you very much for watching. These were the highlights of the natural approach by Krashen and Terrell.